It was a personal reason. Yeah, just where I was in my life and career. Personally, I was very curious to learn about my hidden away Indonesian side because it's not something that I explored much or was. Yeah, I always considered myself an Australian, and so as I got older and as I had my own children, I said, "Well, where am I from? You know, like what about my Indonesian ancestors?" Because I see how important the family is for you are from your parents, your kids are so much the same like you, and the generations go up and up and up. And for most of my life, my Indonesian half was black. I didn't know it. I never learned it. I didn't see it enough. So it was more my desire to go to Indonesia started maybe like 1 year before when I called up my relatives one time in Indonesia and I said, I'd really like to play in Indonesia. I'd really like to see you guys, see the family that I haven't seen in a long time. I'd really like to learn more about where I come from, where my ancestors are. So it started with the idea of, okay, I'd like to play in Indonesia because now I'm at a place in my career where I'm not chasing the highest level. I'm not trying to be in the national team anymore. I retired from playing for Australia. I don't want to play World Championships, World Cup, Olympics anymore. I have a family. I'm ready for the next chapter. And so at the time I was playing in Czech Republic and I had the idea like I'd really like to learn about Indonesian volleyball because I'd known about it. It wasn't considered a high level. Uh, However, the more I learned about it, I started to follow the Proliga. I started to follow a few of the teams, and I could see that they were really like building and developing uh, the sport. And there were some good players, some international name players, finally going to Indonesia, which was good indications. So I said, okay, I'd like to go there one day. I didn't know when, and so I finished the season in the Czech Republic, where I live now with my family. My two daughters and my wife is from Czech Republic. And then I signed a last minute contract in Japan. So this was going from Czech Republic, which is middle to high level Europe, going back to the top level, even though I retired from Australian team. So I signed with Vorias Hokkaido and I played a really hard and good season with the Hokkaido team. And it was during this season where the conversations with Indonesian contacts started to develop. And it was by Christmas of 2023
Yeah.
where I asked my agent, I said, hey, can you find me a contact for Indonesian league? Because I really am starting to I'm being called by my homeland. Like it's coming up in my mind a lot. I don't know what it is exactly, but I'd really like to return. Indonesia was calling me, my half of my soul that I didn't really learn too much about. Um, yeah, and so by Christmas of 2023, I was in contact with an agent representing clubs of the Indonesian league, and they, yeah, presented me an option to play for Pertamina in
Hmm.
Jakarta. I said, great. I started to learn more about the league and the different teams. And yeah, by Christmas, I signed, but it was a little bit difficult because of the schedule. In that, if our team made playoffs in Japan, it would have been very hard to join for
Hmm.
when Pertamina wanted me to start training. So anyway, the magic happened and it all worked out where our team didn't extend and I was able to be released by my club earlier, I'd say,
Hmm.
earlier than they wanted because I asked them personally, like, look, I'd really love to go to my home country of Indonesia. Can you release me? And so yeah, with good friendships and relationships, I was released from Japan. And then within 1 week, I fly back to Jakarta and begin the new adventure and chapter. But I arrived in Jakarta right on Lebaran. So I had all this free time. I arrived in Jakarta ready to train, ready to start working and changing my body the hot and humid, sweating, high temperatures because the gyms are not air conditioned
Yeah.
in Indonesia. And then I said, okay, let's train. And no one was there. Everyone went home I had like 7 days where I was like, I'm here in Jakarta. Okay. So it worked out really nice because I wasn't training volleyball. There was nothing to do whilst all players were fasting for Eid al-Fitr. And I was able to see all my family that I haven't seen for a while and share
Mm.
the celebrations with them.